Hey there, in this video we're gonna continue working on our sequence that we started in part 1, so let's get to it. In this part we're gonna be making the animations more juicy. We're gonna make an apple fall out of the tree, we're gonna make the player walk away, collect the apple and get the pickaxe back, and finally we're gonna add sound effects as well. So let's open up Game Maker and get started. In the previous video we made the player throw the pickaxe at the tree and we also made it spin. But it looks really robotic and doesn't feel smooth at all, so we're gonna work on that now. I'm gonna come to this frame and then select the pickaxe track inside the pickaxe only group. I'm gonna add new keyframes here and then I'm gonna go to the next keyframe. Here I want the pickaxe to rotate back a little more so that it looks like it's charging before being thrown. So I'm gonna do that, then adjust the frames around. And if I play it now, you're gonna see that in the starting it looks somewhat better. Now I want the same effects on the player as well, so I'm gonna select the player group and then come to this frame here. At this frame I'm gonna add a keyframe in the rotation track, and then I'm gonna add a few more keyframes on the same track so that we have 4 keyframes here. Now I'm not gonna be modifying these 2 keyframes, they're simply gonna hold the default value, and we are only gonna be modifying these 2 keyframes. In this keyframe the player's gonna rotate back, and in this one it's gonna rotate forward after throwing the pickaxe. So I'm gonna come to this frame and rotate the player back. And then I'm gonna go to this frame and rotate the player forward. So I'm gonna play the animation and now it actually looks like the player is throwing the pickaxe. Now when the pickaxe hits the tree, it stops instantly and that also looks very unrealistic. So to fix that, I'm gonna come to this frame, then select the pickaxe and add new keyframes. I'm not gonna be modifying these new keyframes, but the ones here. I'm gonna go into the rotation track and modify the angle value here. I'll simply modify it to rotate the pickaxe a little more and it should give a better effect now. I'm gonna make this a little longer and then play the animation. And you can see it sort of has a feedback now after it hits the tree. Now we also want the tree to react after the pickaxe hits it, so we're gonna work on that now. I'm gonna select the tree here, then I'm gonna come to this frame and add new keyframes here. Then I'm gonna add more on this frame, and then finally another in the middle of these 2 keyframes. Now on this frame I'm simply gonna go into the canvas and here rotate the tree, so when the pickaxe hits it, it's gonna be a little tilted. Now I'll move some frames around and do some fine tuning. And now I'm gonna play the animation, and you can see that it looks a lot better now, especially compared to before. Now in this part we're gonna make an apple fall out of the tree when the pickaxe hits it. So I'm gonna go into my assets and import an apple. It'll be 1 frame only, so I'm gonna extend it to the end of the sequence. And I'm gonna make it start somewhere around this frame. Also I'm gonna move the first keyframe to the beginning of the track, and now we can start animating it. I'm gonna set the initial position to somewhere around here because it is gonna come out of the tree. And in the track panel I'm gonna place it at the bottom so that it draws behind the tree. Now to animate this apple we're gonna be using an animation curve since we want the animation to be smooth. So I'm gonna select the position track and convert it into an embedded animation curve. I'm gonna open it and again we have a curve with X and Y channels. Now this part is gonna be kind of tough because we're gonna be animating the apple completely inside the animation curve editor. So I'm gonna change the curve type to smooth first. I'm also gonna zoom out here and now I'm gonna start working on the X channel. I want the apple to fall to the left, so I'm gonna have to reduce the X value for that. And in the canvas you're gonna see how the apple moves to the left now. I'm gonna add another point here for more control. And now we're gonna work on the Y axis to actually make the apple fall. So I'm gonna increase the value in the curve to make the apple go down. But before falling down, we want it to go up. So I'm gonna add a point here and bring it all the way down. And to make it smoother, I'm gonna add another point. And in the sequence you can now see how the apple falls down. I'm gonna do some, of course, fine tuning, and now the animation should look good enough. The falling animation looks good, but after falling the apple doesn't stop, so we're gonna fix that now. Basically we wanna make these lines straight, so I'm gonna open the point list under the X channel. We want these 2 points to have the same values, so I'm gonna copy the value from here and paste it here. So now this line is straight, and we are now gonna do the same in the Y channel. Now the line for Y is straight, but not perfectly straight. You can even see in the canvas that the apple doesn't stay perfectly still. So to fix this, I'm gonna add another point here and give it the same values as the other points. So the apple should stay perfectly still now. You can also move the animation curve around inside the dope sheet to change when the animation starts. And if you ever want to fine tune any values, you can just open the curve and modify the values in the channels here. Now, as I said in the previous video, you can either use an embedded animation curve or you can use an external curve asset. You can also convert an embedded curve into an external curve and back. I'm gonna show you how. You can simply right click on a curve and click on export, and that's gonna make it an actual curve asset rather than an embedded curve. So if you go into your assets and look where your sequence is, you're gonna see the curve assets. You can open it and it'll open up in its own window. And even if you go into the sequence and try to open it from here, it's still gonna open up in the same window. So this is its own curve asset now, and it can be used for any tracks inside any sequence. Now you can go into the sequence and convert it back into an embedded curve again. So if you open it now, it's gonna open up as an embedded curve. I'm gonna let it stay like this. And now we're gonna work on giving the apple a squishing animation when it falls on the ground. We're gonna do this completely with an external curve asset and not an embedded curve. So I'll start by going into my assets and creating a new animation curve. I'll name this curve squish since that's what it's for. And now we're gonna work on the curve itself. Since this is for squishing the apple, you know we're gonna be working with scale. And for the scale, we're gonna need an X scale value and a Y scale value. So I'll name this channel X and create a new one for the Y. And actually I'm gonna go ahead and specify a scale in the name since this curve is meant for the scale track only. Now the default scale is always 1, so I'm gonna set the values to 1 here. And in the curve view, I'm gonna set the range to be between 0 and 2. Now I'm gonna make a simple curve here where the X scale goes up and the Y scale goes down. So this should be good enough for now. I'm gonna go into the sequence and here go into the apple track. I'm gonna add a scale track here. And to apply the animation curve to it, I'm gonna select this option and then select my curve asset. So now you can see the curve here and you can also see the scaling animation on the apple. So this basically demonstrates how you can create a curve and use it anywhere inside a sequence. Now I do need to make the animation a little shorter, so I'm gonna do that here. And also make sure that the values always begin and end at 1. Now in the dope sheet, you can control exactly when the scaling animation starts simply by moving the imported curve around. So I'm gonna place it here. Now something interesting about curves is that you can convert them into keys by using this option. So now these are regular keyframes instead of a curve. So this might be useful if you wanna be able to control the animation right here in the dope sheet. But I am gonna turn this back into a curve. Now in this part, we're gonna make the player walk away, get the apple, and also get the pickaxe back. So we are gonna start by making the player walk away. In the player group, we have an animation curve in the position track. So I'm gonna convert that back into keys since it's not exactly easy to animate with an animation curve. Of course, you can turn it back into a curve again after finishing the animation. Now at this frame, I want the player to start walking again. So I'm gonna end the idle track here. And I want the move track to start again, so I'm gonna copy that key to the end and make it fill the rest of the animation. So again the player switches into its walking state, and to actually make it move, I'm gonna add a keyframe here and another at the end. Now in this last keyframe, I'm simply gonna make the player move somewhere around here, and make sure that you're moving the player group and not the player sprite inside it. Now the player does walk away, and we also wanted to collect the apple as it goes by it. So to do that, I'm gonna come to this frame and here simply end the apple track. So the apple disappears here and it looks like the player collected it. Now we're gonna make the pickaxe fall out of the tree and back into the player's hands. So I'm gonna select the pickaxe track and add new keyframes here. And I'm gonna add keyframes on this frame as well. Now on this frame, I'm gonna rotate the pickaxe a little so it looks like it's getting loose. And then I'm gonna go to this frame and here add new keyframes. Here I'm simply gonna make the pickaxe fall on the player. Now when this pickaxe falls on the player, I'm gonna end it right there to make it disappear. And at this point, I want the player's pickaxe to appear. So I'm gonna go into the player's group and here select the pickaxe track. I'm gonna go to this frame and add a key here. I'll stretch it out to the end of the sequence. So now it looks like the player is holding the pickaxe again. Of course, we are doing that by making one track disappear and another track appear. Now the tree should be behind the player, so I'm gonna go into the track panel and do that. And now the animation looks perfect. All we need now are sound effects. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a new group for sounds. By the way, if you're wondering how I got this green background, I simply went into this menu and added a reference image. And now for our sound effects, I'm gonna go into my assets and drag a sound effect for the footsteps into my sounds group. So we have the sound here in the dope sheet and we can place it wherever we want to play it. So if you play the sequence, you're gonna hear the sound, and you can actually make the sound loop by making the track longer. So if I do this and then play the sequence, you can hear the footstep sound repeatedly. Now this is the frame where the player stops, so I'm simply gonna end the footstep sounds here. Now I'm gonna add some more sound effects. So this is one for when the player swings the pickaxe. Here's a simple swoosh sound effect to accompany the swing sound effect. I'm also gonna add a sound for when the pickaxe hits the tree. Now we also need a sound for when the apple falls down on the ground. And when the player starts walking again to get the apple, we wanna play the footstep sounds again. And finally, I'm gonna add sound effects for when the player picks up the apple and also gets the pickaxe back. And now with this, our animation, at least for now, is finished. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you wanna see more from sequences, do let me know in the comments. You can also check out my other videos here and here, and I will be making more videos on 2.3, so make sure to subscribe here, and I'll see you in the next one.